Hi, it's Naomi back with another vlog for you guys. This time I'm going to be talking about The Missing Girl by Jenny Quintana. This book is her debut novel. It is also Waterstones Thriller of the Month for July. I'm moving house at the moment, so I was looking for a standalone novel that was easy to get into, and that's why I picked it up. I actually thought it was going to be more of a psychological thriller, like a Gone Girl, Girl on the Train type of thing, but I was actually incredibly wrong. It's much more of a traditional mystery novel. In fact, the thing I can most liken it to is the first half of Anthony Horowitz's The Magpie Murders. The plot of the novel actually revolves around a woman called Anna, who's a teacher in Athens, and she has to come back to the UK following her mother's death to sort out the family estate. So she's got the family home to sort out, but as well, her family used to run a shop and do house clearances, sell on the secondhand furniture, paintings, etc. The other thing Anna has to confront in the village is the memory that in 1982 her big sister Gabriella disappeared and was never found again. So Anna is haunted by these ghosts of the past. She often wonders if, there's things that she should have or could have done differently. For example, she mentions that she didn't see her mother in person for 3 years before her mother's death. So, she's got some regrets on that side. And on the other hand as well, she has this sort of like internalized guilt about her big sister's disappearance. If she'd maybe done something differently that day, would things have turned out differently? Would Gabriella have been found one way or the other? So you can understand why Anna has this reluctance to come back to this village. There's no one left for her. Her mother's gone, her father's gone, her sister. The only person who who remains to support her is her mother's best friend Rita, who actually helps Anna understand a bit more about her family. One of my favourite things about the book is actually the setting. Having grown up in a small English village, I feel like the author's gotten quite a good grasp of what it's like to live there down on paper. There is definitely this feeling of scrutiny sometimes. Everyone does know everyone's business. But at the same time, there's a certain loyalty to these places that I think it's much harder to find in a bigger place. The other thing I thought the author did really well was got across the nature of the place. It created a really good atmosphere for the novel. In fact, some of the creepiest scenes in the book are actually set outside in a woods. And I think that kind of pushes even further the narrative of isolation that Anna feels. I also enjoyed the fact that it was quite a slow burn waiting to find out any details at all about Gabriella's disappearance. It's quite a common style sort of in choice in this type of novel, The Missing Person, to have the first chapter or the prologue to be a rundown of the events of the day, and then something like, and then they were never seen again on the bottom as the last sentence. But I think kind of waiting was actually more effective for me because I'd read so many books that had done it this other way. This was a bit more refreshing. The book's also set in the 1980s and in the modern day. I actually found the 1980s chapters were very effective. The author creates the sense of the time period with the odd reference, to Susie and the Banshees or Walkmans or whatever, but not just hammering home these 80s references just for the sake of it, which I find often doesn't add to the plot at all. The other thing that really worked was Anna was only 12 when her sister went missing, so she was still a child. So she had this sense of when her sister was around, she was always playing catch up. She was always trying to be cool and do things with Gabriella, but Gabriella was this teenager and she was a little, lofty and untouchable. So Anna did feel slightly kind of isolated from her in some ways. And then after Gabriella's disappearance, she's then the only child in this household. And the adults either don't want to talk about things in front of her or don't feel it's appropriate. Anna as an adult in the book actually mentions that that might just have been because her parents were very much a product of their time, you know, and if such an event had happened nowadays, the child like Anna would have been treated very differently. But unfortunately, they don't realize they're making Anna feel so lonely and so isolated, which, you know, is such a sad thing. And you just feel for Anna so much as a child reading those chapters set in the 80s. The mystery itself is very intriguing, very well paced, well designed. I really enjoyed reading it. I'm keen to see what the author does next. I raced through it, I think because of the author's writing style, but also because I just really wanted to know what happened to Gabriella. It's a really good summary kind of read, easy to get into. I'd actually also really recommend it for book clubs as well. I feel like there's a lot to talk about around this book. I won't say exactly what, but I'll just tell you, I think you'll get a lot of talking points out of it. Yeah, why not give it a try? Tell us what you think. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I'm going to go back to packing up the rest of my house. If you want to hear more from me, more from the other vloggers, more from Waterstones in general, then please do subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.